Should have been up by now.
Wait till they get ready, so we'll see.
Yeah. They were taking a lot of notes, but
Oh, yeah.
I expect so we'll see some of that. That was really helpful. Really,
I really enjoyed that.
it was very helpful. I really wasn't sure kind of what to expect.
Yeah.
But that was super.
It was my first time hosting it, so I wasn't either. But
You did a great job.
yeah.
make sure this is working. Is it on here? Do I need to hit a button? We're on? I get a thumbs up on somebody.
You good?
You're good, you're good? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today for this important event focused basically on saving lives. At Arkansas State, we exist to transform students through education, and a critical part of that transformation is protecting the health, the safety, and the well-being of our Red Wolf family. That's why the One Pill Can Kill campaign matters so deeply to us. This is not a distant issue. It is happening in communities across Arkansas and on college campuses across America. The dangers of counterfeit pills, many containing lethal amounts of fentanyl, pose a real and urgent threat. Just 2 milligrams, the size of a few grains of sand, can be a lethal overdose. At A-State, we are fortunate to have many campus resources that are in place, thanks to the work of student affairs, university police, and emergency management and safety teams. The university has deployed 134 opioid rescue kits across campus, making Narcan publicly accessible in every major facility. We produce a live map of all kit locations available at astate.edu/Narcan map. We also provide Narcan at no charge to any faculty member, staff, or student who requests it. So far, we have distributed over 250 boxes. That's 500 doses already, directly to individuals in our community. Our teams offer Narcan response and overdose recognition training through the Employee Learn Center and through in-person workshops for student organizations, departments, and residence halls. And our Office of Emergency Management recently onboarded A-State as an inaugural member of the Arkansas Collegiate Network, an initiative advancing opioid prevention and research statewide. And we are students that are stepping forward to learn, lead, and serve. Through the One Pill Can Kill campaign, we are training students on how to recognize the signs of overdose and how to administer life-saving interventions. One pack does mean that our Red Wolf family looks out for each other, especially in our most difficult moments. It's now my honor to introduce the leader behind this effort, Attorney General Tim Griffin. Attorney General Griffin is a public servant whose work has been defined by protecting Arkansans, building stronger and safer communities. Previously, he served 8 years as our Lieutenant Governor and represented the state's 2nd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. He is a colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve, serving in the Judge Advocate General's Corps. Through initiatives like One Pill Can Kill, his office is not only raising awareness, but building partnerships with schools, universities, and communities to stop overdoses before they happen. That work is saving lives, and today's event is part of that mission. Please join me in welcoming Attorney General Tim Griffin.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me be here to share with you today. This is a really important initiative that we're launching all over the state, and we're focused on 4-year and 2-year educational institutions because this problem with illicit opioids, potentially fatal illicit opioids, is not limited to younger people, but it is primarily focused on sort of 18 to 40, and a lot of the use starts at this age, at the college age, when kids are out, young people are out, students are out having fun, they're going to parties, and their guard goes down because they've had some drinks, and someone offers them a pill. And if you make the wrong decision, it can kill you. And so the One Pill Can Kill concept, the branding, the idea is not a scare tactic, it's just truth. It's the truth. And so let me step back and talk a little bit about how we got here. So my office receives, over time, we're continuing to receive, opioid settlement funds. And opioid settlement funds, under those settlements with some big drug companies and pharmacies and others, under those settlements, those funds have to be spent on opioid abatement only, okay? And this all comes out of the crisis that we're still dealing with, but we've done a lot better as a country dealing with this crisis of dealing with prescription opioids, not to be confused with the illicit opioids that are on the street. So in the United States, all over the United States, particularly in, Arkansas, West Virginia, certain parts of the country, particularly in a lot of the rural areas, we struggled for years and continue to with this problem of prescription drugs, prescription opioids, oxycodone, for example, because doctors were overprescribing them, health professionals were overprescribing them often for legitimate purposes, and people were getting addicted, and some companies were pushing more and more use of these highly addictive, highly dangerous prescription drug opioids, okay? So we had this problem. Look, I'll just tell you, my brother died in March. He had a really bad back surgery years ago, and he had excruciating pain, and he became addicted to oxycodone. And he died in March after years and years and years of depending upon these opioids to get through the day. And we tried to get him pain management help and all, but at the end of the day, the addiction was so strong and the pain so severe that eventually his body was degraded, and he could not make it any longer. Well, this story multiplied times hundreds of thousands, if not millions. People have these stories all over the U.S. What did we do as a country? Well, we were involved in litigation, got these settlement funds, and then we started getting better training for a lot of healthcare professionals to say, hey, opioids, legitimate opioids, prescription drug opioids, opioids made in a pharmaceutical grade factory, those are legitimate drugs that can play a legitimate role. But we've got to get our arms around overprescribing. We've got to educate people. And we've been doing that for years. We've been doing it dealing with doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals, and also just raising awareness in the community. And there's a lot more awareness in that we can use our technology to further, and that is through computer systems that track the sales of opioids. If there's a doctor that's prescribing a lot of opioids, an unusual amount, that computer can say, hey, we got a problem here in this area, right? So we've been doing a lot of things to deal with this prescription drug opioid problem. Now we got a new problem. Once you start to get your arms around the supply on the prescription drug opioid side, the demand is still there. So what happens? Somebody fills it. So what has happened is we've gotten our arms around the prescription drug problem. A new problem has arisen, and it is more dangerous. And that's the illicit opioid problem. And that's primarily what we're here to talk about today. So what happened as we started to deal with the prescription problem as it relates to opioids, criminals saw an opportunity to start supplying opioids because opioids are harder to get now, prescription drug. And so the criminals said, we'll make it. And we don't really care whether people live or die. We'll make it wherever, in the back of a factory, in the back of a home, wherever, with whatever. People don't know what's in it. They don't know where it's made. They don't know who made it. Very different from prescription drugs. The prescription opioids are highly addictive, but you also know what they are because they're pharmaceutical grade, right? So take one oxycodone, for example. It's highly addictive, but if you take one oxycodone, most adults, that's not going to kill you. You may get addicted over time taking them, but that one pill, you know it's pharmaceutical grade. Well, with the illicit opioids that are on the streets and are being passed out at parties, you have no idea. So let me tell you what we do know. Most of the ingredients are coming from China. They are being shipped to Mexico, where the illicit opioids are being manufactured, if you want to call it manufactured, made. And there's been recent studies out of Congress to indicate that the Chinese government was giving tax credits to companies who would ship more of these ingredients overseas to target the U.S. They won't allow them to be shipped and used in China, but they want to get them over here because these illicit opioids kill thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans every year. So what's happening is they're being manufactured south of the border, and then they make their way into the U.S. Now, many of them look like legitimate pills. If you look at it, you're like, that's from a pharmacy. You have no idea. Absolutely no idea. And what they'll do is they'll take just about anything to make the filler of the pill, most of the pill. As Dr. Shields was saying, just a few grains of it are the fentanyl, if there's fentanyl on it. But the rest of the pill is just nothing. They've used concrete, they use sheetrock, they use whatever, chalk, whatever it takes, because they don't care. See, they don't care if students live or die, ultimately. What they want is a really highly addictive substance to get as many people addicted as quickly as possible. And if some die, they know, they believe, they can count on other people getting in line to get addicted next. So, the one pill can kill branding is talking about these illicit pills. And if you think about it, there's almost nothing you would normally put in your body if you didn't know where it came from, who made it, what was in it. And these pills may have passed through a dozen people before they ever get to you. You have no idea. And so the goal of the One Pill Can Kill initiative is to raise awareness, particularly among student leaders, Greek leaders, student government leaders, others in the university community, so that you can be what we in the Army call force multipliers, right? You can be more effective than one person because you're going to spread the news. You're going to know how to deal with some of these problems. In terms of how to apply the Narcan and what to do and what to tell other people. Hopefully you're going to go teach. You're going to be taught here, and then you're going to go teach. In the Army, we call that training the trainer, right? So we're going to train the trainer today and give you excellent information on this with the hopes that it will spread and it will help decrease the number of people who take that chance, who just take a random pill from somebody in an attempt to get high, which could possibly kill them. And One Pill Can Kill, what we're doing today, fits into in two of the three areas that we focus on with this settlement money. So here are the three areas that we have to, from which we're attacking the opioid problem. Number one is prevention. Okay? We hope that no one ever takes the pill. That's the best case scenario, right? People learn about it, they know about it, someone offers it, they say no, not interested, they walk away, whatever. That is the perfect situation. And that's what this is all about, right? It's informing people, letting them know what the dangers are, what the risks are, and making people think. You're here getting an education, planning for the rest of your life. Do you really want to risk not having a life by taking that, right? So that's part of the prevention. The next part of it is the recovery. And that's, we hope we never have to deal with the recovery part, but the reality is we do. That's for someone, helping someone who made the wrong decision, who took the pill, and is either A, passed out, possibly about to die, or they're addicted now, and maybe the next pill is the one that could kill them, and we've got to get them treatment. So that's the recovery part. That's the middle part. And those two, prevention and recovery, that's what today is all about. We hope it's all prevention, but we prepare with the Narcan knowing that we need to be ready for recovery. The third part is prosecution and dealing with the bad actors. And that's what we also, in the AG's office, Attorney General's office, my office, that's a third category that we focus on. But today is all about raising awareness, educating people, and training you in case we need to deal with the recovery issue. So you play a critical role, and we've targeted about 50 institutions around the state, 2-year, 4-year, you name it. And we're going to continue to take this message. And we don't want this to be a one-time thing, right? We want to be a resource. So if you need more of something, some Narcan or whatever, we certainly could be a resource there. If there's stuff that you want to do that you need funding for, and it relates to the opioid issue, let us know, because we have funding that might be available for that. So this needs to be an ongoing conversation so that we can continue to help over time. And we're putting a vending machine in here. Why would we put a vending machine? Well, some people don't want to ask for Narcan. They don't feel comfortable asking for Narcan, even though they may know someone in their dorm or in their circle who may need it one day. They may be, a little embarrassed to ask. They shouldn't be, but some people don't feel comfortable asking. So we put it in these vending machines where you can get free Narcan. And you can get it 24 hours a day, anytime you have access to the machine. Now, what we generally do is we will have a number of things that you would normally see in a vending machine that you pay for. And, for example, we've got one at the University of Arkansas where you can buy, it's like Tylenol or maybe a toothbrush, some other health-related items at the clinic. But on the bottom, and you pay for those, but on the bottom are a couple of rows of Narcan, and there's no charge for the Narcan. And so we use the revenue from the other items to help pay for the vending machine. But people, when they're going there to buy things out of the vending, will see that the Narcan is free. And they may not need it then, but they may think, oh, God, I do need to get some quickly. I know where to get it, right? And I'm going to a party this weekend or whatever, and I'm going to take one just to be safe because of what I think might be going on. And so that is in the works, and we'll be paying for that to make sure that you have that. Will that be here in the students? Yeah, okay. So that'll be here in the student center. And that's just another way that we're assisting. So I want to thank you all for being here, and just let you know that after your training, after you get the information, that's when it really begins. And so we have the T-shirts, and just want to raise awareness. And it's great if people ask you a question, what's one pill can kill? What does that mean? It's a little bit edgy branding, and that's on purpose. So people will ask questions, what's that about? And then you can tell them, hey, look, this is not like the prescription drug stuff that a lot of people have taken in the past. This stuff, one pill can kill. So thank you for having us, Doctor. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for participating in this training. And if I can ever help in any way, let me know. Thank you all. You want to take any questions? Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you have some questions. I think they're for you. I think the questions are for you. I'm kidding. Any questions? I answered them all. Yeah, go ahead.
You could deliver one message to every person on the scholar's campus about fentanyl.
That if you decide to take fentanyl, you are basically potentially attempting suicide. There is absolutely no benefit to you at all. And if you are approached with pills, that raises all sorts of other questions. Who are these people? How do you get those people help? Maybe you need to anonymously tell someone what was going on and who was doing it. You may save someone's life. But the one thing I would say is you are literally playing Russian roulette. Anything else? Yes.
I got a question, because we're planning on giving out free Narcan. I'm just uneducated on this. Can that become like abuse? Like, is there any side effects of taking Narcan when you don't need it? Like, can students start to?
Yeah, I'm told that there, as a general matter, there are no side effects if you don't need it. It's not like you're replacing one addictive drug with another one, and they're going to start going to the vending machine and getting all the Narcan. No, it's not like that. You may be thinking of is it methadone and heroin. That's not what this is. I see Miss Grader. Little Rock, yes. Hello. Yeah. Do you want to come up and say hello? Have you been helping today?
I got here right before
You want to come up and say hello? Now, Miss Grader Little Rock texted me, and come on up here. And so, did you lose a friend? You want to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about that? So, do you live up in this part of the state?
No, but I did go
No?
there for undergrad. and
Okay,
I went to finish
so
my
she's an
master's,
alum. She reached out, and just a few days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me a little bit about her story. Great to meet you in
Nice
person.
to meet
yeah.
you.
If you want to quickly tell us about, first of all, what was your major here?
So I got my bachelor's of science in 2020, and I will be walking on the 13th, getting my master's in strategic communication. Hi, Ryan. There's my old coach. I was a cheerleader.
Excellent.
Getting my
Excellent.
master's in strategic communication, so happy to be back here.
So this is something that fentanyl is something you're helping raise
Yes.
awareness about. They may want you to speak in the mic. Yeah, okay. Well, they're telling me get near the mic. Anyway, yeah, if you want to tell us the story of your friend.
So back in 2021, I received the awful call that one of my best friends had passed away from a fentanyl overdose, and it completely derailed my life in the worst way. I actually had just started my master's program. I ended up having to take a break for that, so finally about to finish. But I say derailed in the worst way, but then it put me on a completely different trajectory. I compete in the Miss Arkansas organization, and we all have a community service initiative. And it was something else before I changed it to what is now Purpose and Prevention. And I go around the state of Arkansas and advocate for substance misuse awareness, specifically with fentanyl. And I try to do what I can to encourage others to avoid this. A lot of people don't understand that 6 out of 10 illicit pills are going to be laced with fentanyl. So even like you said, if you would say, like I tell students, I know you would never do fentanyl, but you could try something else and it's in there, and then you don't know what you're getting into after that. So I want to encourage others to get involved with recovery resources. I would love to talk to you later about a grant I want to create to help others, fill in that gap with people that are trying to reach out to recovery resources and can't afford that. But yeah, we lost her, and it was absolutely devastating. But I just do what I can to take something that was so negative and impacted our friends and family and community, and use it in a positive way.
Thank you. And your name again?
Apple Denny.
Apple Denny.
Yes.
Apple Denny. Well, thank you for
No,
being
of
here with
course,
us.
thank you.
Thank you all, and let's give her another round of applause for sharing her story. Thank y'all so much, and I'll be around, and we'll talk about that grant, and y'all be thinking how you can possibly use some grant money up here to raise awareness and to help us fight this. Thank y'all.